Today's podcast is brought to you by MinervaBeauty.com.
Welcome to the Matt Beck Podcast. Woke up this way. He's got a lot of cool stuff he's going to show you today. The latest news, industry topics, and business tips. For all hairstylists and salon owners, it's time to flip the script. Grab your precision scissors, barber combs, and swivel twist razors. Let's cut a bob, a quick Shag pixie cut with a little bit of flavor. Check out the live classes, product reviews, let's rock on. Don't forget to check out freesaloneducation.com. I woke up this way. It's going to be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be
What's up, guys? Welcome to Friday's podcast.
Ooh,
We got through the week.
I know.
This is actually, it's kind of cool because we successfully did every day.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, guys. If you guys are on the chats, Brandon's already on the chat. Did you see him?
I did.
He's like, is Carly on? Welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to do some fun stuff. It's Friday, so I want to talk hair a little bit, but we're going to do hair more. So that's kind of the plan. We're going to color. I'm going to do some cutting and probably a finish because I want to show you guys the end result. So we're going to go through it. Basically, today I've got a Shag haircut, which you guys will be able to see right here. The Shag haircut, what I'm going to do with it is, this is actually Sam Villa cut this haircut, but what I'm going to do is he cut it to be more of a full kind of wavy lived-in look. I'm going to show you guys a couple dry cutting techniques to take out a little bit of weight so it can live a more straight hair. And that's really just, I was going to do that prior to the episode, but I decided why not show you guys and film that as well. And then we're going to do a color technique on that Shag, and I'm going to show you guys how to do some lived-in stuff based on our inspiration. I got Carly with me.
Hello.
Hello. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you post them in the chat. And Ange is on as well. We got the whole fam logging on. So I'd like to know where you guys are from, so post that in the comments, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully, if you are not doing hair on this Friday, you're at least getting inspired through what we have to share with you guys. So again, if you guys have questions, let us know, and we're going to get started. First thing, we're going to get right into hair because I want to get the color on. Then we'll talk hair, and I'll take your questions. I'll also be able to see your questions in the back as well. So I'm going to get everything situated, get over there, and then we're going to get going live with the hair. So let's just get prepared here.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right. Hello, hello. All right. All right, guys. So today, what I want to share with you is some dry cutting techniques like we talked about. Now, the key today is that this is going to be just a quick tip. This isn't a full haircut. You can see that we already have a Shag look to it. What I want to kind of go over today is you can see how it gets heavier in the back here. This was a great look for somebody that wanted to wear this a little wavier and kind of have that buildup of weight in there. But what I want to do is kind of cut into that, show you guys some techniques that'll actually take this weight line out. We're going to add a little bit of texture and layers to it, and then I'm going to go in and start the color. Carly's mixing up the color now. So first thing is, with dry cutting, I like to use more of a wide tooth comb. So this is the YS Park 332 comb. I like that because it allows me to get through the hair a lot easier. It doesn't pull as much tension. When you're cutting dry hair and you pull a lot of tension, it pulls the hair from where it naturally wants to live. The whole goal of cutting hair dry is to make sure that, it's a more lived in feeling, and you're playing more to how the hair is going to fall in the style. Actually, Andrew Carruthers was on the class yesterday, and he was talking more about, we always talk about natural fall, and I liked what he was saying about the fact that natural fall is more how the guest is going to wear the style, as opposed to how somebody how the hair is naturally falling, right? So if it's naturally falling with a cowlick, that doesn't mean you're going to cut the hair to be naturally falling with the cowlick. It means how is she going to work that cowlick and how will it fall when she's done styling it? So that's what we're going to kind of go over today. This is for somebody that has more of a straight hair feel, a little bit thicker, medium to high density, and we could take in some layering into it. So in the back here, let me zoom in a bit. Oh, wrong way. And if you guys have questions, we can see them no matter what you're on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. I see you guys, Ginger from Texas. So I'm watching the comments and I'll try to answer everybody. So, all right. So first things first, I want to take out this weight. I want to get the haircut where I want it to be. Then I'm going to go in and do my color technique. I'm looking at this shape. I actually really dig it. It's got kind of that off the face, open up the face feel, and then it's got some weight that's getting pushed towards. So we've got some heavy corners in here. So what I want to do is go in and take out some of that. What I'll do is I'll tilt my guest's head forward, just like this. And I'm going to comb the hair down so I can really see that weight. I can see how it kind of curves down that way. And then it collapses right here in the back in the nape area. So you can see how it gets really soft. So I want to make that a nice smooth transition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a vertical parting straight down the center. I'm going to hold that out. Now you could see there's a slight disconnection in there and that heavier weight that falls over. That's where you're getting that buildup of density there. So what I'm going to do is just come in here and I'm going to use a tease cutting technique to half close the scissor and just take away that weight line and lift and elevate as I pull up. And what that's going to do is remove that weight line and soften it. Now, the thing I like about doing the tease cutting technique is that as I'm lifting up the hair and cutting, the elevation, I'm not creating a really blunt line. So blunt lines are what can really cause a lot of weight in a haircut. So I come up through here, and then I'm lifting the hair and half open, half closing the scissor as I lift through. So Ivan's asking what combs I use. Let's see. And Don, that's a good question about clients rescheduling. We'll talk about that in the podcast portion. But from a comb standpoint, we did talk about it, but this is the YS Park 332. Honestly, I don't really care so much what comb you use. If you like this one, then you can get this one on freesaloneducation.com. But any comb that has wider teeth is what I like to use when I'm doing dry cutting. I don't want to pull too much tension on the hair. So again, vertical, bringing everything out from the head. Because this is a shag, I don't mind. It does have these corners, but I actually really like, so I want to keep them. So what I'm doing is I'm going to pull everything straight back. I'll turn the head so you can see. So when I comb it, this comes straight back. And then I go to my next section, straight back out of the head. Next section, straight back. Not over directing it into the middle. I'm not trying to push too much weight over, but I'm just pulling it straight back, keeping a nice horizontal line within the weight there. So let me turn this again. And again, going back into that tease cutting, and you'll see me scoop underneath the hair like this. That's so that I'm always consistently pulling the new hair into my guide instead of pushing my guide into the new hair. So I scoop underneath, bring it back to me. There's where that disconnection starts, and I'm just going to go in and soften it. And you can see how shattered that is in the line. That's what's going to really soften that weight. And I'll just keep continuing across. Like I said, this is just a really nice finishing technique. This isn't the whole haircut, but I wanted to share with you guys this tip and not just do it off camera so you didn't see it. There you go. So you can see already how that's starting to kind of collapse and lay nicer. I don't mind a little bit of weight because it is a shag and it's going to have a ton of movement and layers in there, but I didn't want that kind of heavy base sitting in it. So again, another vertical parting here, bringing it all back to me. All right. So then if there's any leftover weight that I just want to remove just a slight bit, I'll take my scissor just like this. And again, it's a half close of the scissor and I'll pinch the hair and I'll just remove any little like weight lines that I see and kind of cut into that corner a little bit just to soften it. But you can see already if I turn this, you should be able to see. It's all brown hair, so it makes it a little harder, but you should be able to see how this side is falling a lot softer than this heavier kind of bulky side. So it just allows your shape to lay nicer, especially when your guest goes to style it, because that's what, the difference is between coming in, doing a precision cut, cutting these blunt lines, and then having your guest go home and try to style it. And now she's got this thick weight that looked good when you blew it dry, but it doesn't look good when she does. And then that's not going to get you success in the salon. You're going to be having clients upset with you while they're at home. And that's not the goal. So same thing, vertical section. Now I'm combing in because I'm combing that new hair into the guide, let the hair fall out, and then elevate as I tease cut and just slide my hand up and remove that weight. So somebody said I tend to lose my guide when doing finishing techniques. Honestly, I don't really, you are kind of working with a guide, but at the same time, like I look at the hair, and basically what I'm doing is I'm looking at the hair, I'm trying to find where the bulky parts are, and then I assess what do I want to do with that. So like, for instance, I've got the weight, I see that it's heavy here. So how do I remove that weight? I'm not necessarily going in to find a guide. What I'm doing is I'm pulling that hair and knowing that I need to lift it. I can see that some of that shorter hair falls out and I can see where the bulk is. So then that's what I want to do is I want to elevate it. That's still soft, and then come in here and just slightly remove. There's not really so much a guideline as my guideline is where the weight is and what I want to do with it. But this technique is great, just being able to lift, remove that weight. If you don't lift it, you'll still get kind of a heavier feel. So this is creating a little more layering as you elevate. Usually wearing a jacket, this cord is driving me crazy. All right, so then I slide through here. This is a half close of the scissor, and just remove a little bit of that bulk as well. Just like that. So it's not changing the haircut, it's just making it have a little bit lighter feel to it. All right, so now we're gonna color. You know what I need? Gloves. All right, just made it, and I need 1 or 3 combs. Going to purchase the one you're using. Going to watch the beginning later. Nice haircut. Thanks, Joel. Joel, you've been consistent being on here all week. I appreciate that. Very cool. All right, so let's see. All right, so we're grabbing some gloves. So I want to go over the colors that I'm choosing for the color technique. Then we're going to get into sectioning, and then we'll get started. So the colors that I chose are for my base. What I want to do is create kind of a rooty feel. The inspiration for these color techniques, I looked up some Shag colors this morning, and I'll show you guys some of these. I can and I'll tell you who the hairdresser is that did them as well. Now, we're not going to create yellow. What I wanted to create was a more natural salon feel. So this is a more salon-friendly technique, but I like the placement and how this kind of moves and looks a little more organic. So I liked this one. This was hair by Sam Hostad. Hopefully you guys can see him in there, his name. And then this one I really liked. It was a little softer yellow, but it also had other tones in it. So I kind of took that inspiration as well. Love these shag haircuts. This one is hair by Michaeleo. I have no idea. I'm the worst at names. Can I zoom in better? There we go. Maybe you guys can see the name. So I really like that one. And then this one was really cool as well. Still rooty look, and then has kind of that pop of different tone on the end. Again, I'm going to color this to be more of earthy, like more of an earthy feel to it, a more salon-friendly way of doing it. And that last picture was Unique Salon, I believe, in Stockton, California. So... all right, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to create that rooty base, and then I'm going to do 2 tones through the ends. One is a 6NA. The other is going to be a 6SB. These are all Joico colors, Lumishine, all demi colors. Anytime I'm taking something a little bit deeper, I don't want to use permanent unless they need 100% gray coverage. But it really brings out the cut, and that's what I want to kind of show you guys today. I'm obviously more of a cutter, so anything I do color-wise is just to enhance whatever cut I've created. Make Carly's hair that color, please. Oh, Brandon. Let's see. All right, so we've got 5N with 1BS. That's a blue, silver, black. So we did a dash of the 1BS with a whole container of 5N. So literally just pouring a dash in there. That's just going to give me that smoky kind of deeper base with the 5N. I would say her hair is sitting at about a level 6. So that, it's going to give me that depth in there. And then the level 6s, I don't really want to change the lightness of the ends here. And if I wanted to brighten them a little bit, I would paint the base on, lighten the ends a little bit, then go back through and choose my tones. With this technique, I'm not really trying to change the level of the head. I'm just trying to give dimension into it. So a 6SB, these both have depth, NAs and SBs, because they're, a green base and like a silver blue base. So they're going to have more depth than normal. So that's why I'm not even concerned about what level this mannequin is, because that, even though those are a 6 and this is a 6, they're going to be deeper than this a little bit. Carla says, I hope to see you at the San Jose show. I'm headed to San Jose this weekend, so I will probably see you there. All right, so we're going to start off. I'm very excited to use these clips that Sam Villa left for me. These are dry hair clips. They have a silicone band in them, so they don't leave creases in the hair, which doesn't really matter so much for coloring, but they hold the hair really nice as well, so kind of like that. What I do is shag on a 60 plus with silver/white hair. Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, this is a really cool cut, and it's kind of for me, it's kind of a timeless cut, but at the same time, it can be really modern looking, or, it can fit anyone. So I definitely would say, depending on your style, this could be a pretty cool haircut for you. All right. So we're going to start off. What I like to do is just take out a horseshoe section on the top. I'm very precise pretty much when I cut hair. Not so precise when I color hair, so bear with me on this. We're just going to get messy and paint on the hair. So let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see everything. There we go. Turn. So what I'll do is I'll paint some of the base first, really just around this horseshoe section. And then once I get that horseshoe section on, I'm really staying only about an inch away right now because I don't want to go too deep in there. Then I'm going to split at that division point, and I'm going to paint back and forth just to separate that. So that really, instead of clipping everything away, I'm painting it into different segments. Just like that, and then I'll paint over this way. There we go. So now I've got that section right there, and then I've got a section in the back here. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Right here. Take a section up, and I'm going to paint the hair over one way and then back the other. For me, when I'm working in the salon, I like to book about an hour and a half with everyone. So everything that I do is more, I try to do it in a time-saving way, but to get the best result. Because some people like to take a lot of time, and that's fine as long as you're charging for it. For me, I really like to kind of work through and, especially with the color, just like I said, I'm accenting my cuts. So what I want is to show off the texture of a shag. I want there to be two different tones that are kind of mixing and going throughout the haircut. But I'm not really concerned with this because we're living at a level 6, with it being like perfectly applied, because I'd rather just it be more kind of organic anyways. So I painted the root on this piece, so now I'm going to go through and I'm going to start off with a 6NA. I'm going to paint that through the ends, just like that. And then I'll take my next section. I've got the level 5, my deepest root color. I bring that down. I'm going to paint that root right there. And then I'm going to pull that section out, and I'm going to paint it with the 6SB to bring this down. Just like that. This is great for your clients that aren't looking for a big change. Like, I think every client needs to have some sort of dimension to help their haircut kind of to show off the haircut. So instead of doing just a regular base touch-up, do their base touch-up, but then use two different tones throughout to give it that movement. Go. And 6NA through the ends. And again, today I'm using all Joico Lumishine Demi color. This already has its base on there, and so I'll do a little bit of 6SB. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Get that all processing at the same time. Those of you guys just tuning in, this is, you know what, I'm going to go like this. Those of you guys just tuning in, I'm using a 5N with a 1BS, so really deepening the root area of the guest, and then going through and using multi-tones throughout the ends. Like I said before, you could do fantasy color on the ends. You can kind of do whatever you want. Oh, thanks, Carly. Your hands are going to be destroyed. So I put that at the base, the 5N with 1BS, and then I go 6NA through the ends, and then I rotate going through with the 6SB. Now I'm doing horizontal sections right now. I will switch to vertical when I get to the top because I want to separate a little bit. There's the base. Six SB. What we got? Am I wiping the color off on my gloves when I change sections? Nope. That's kind of part of the whole organic thing. So I'm not touching the 5NA or the level 5N with the 1BS. That's not hitting my gloves, but the two other tones are. These are going to live so similar, but at the same time, they will have a little bit different tone to them. So that's where I'm not super concerned with them mixing together, touching each other. That's not a big deal. And that's part of that whole organic feel. I think people stress a little bit too much about that stuff, and that's just my opinion. I mean, obviously, again, color hair just to accent the cuts. I'm not usually thinking like I'm reinventing hair color ever. So, but I do color on all my guests. So we're going to work through. And also, this is all horizontal. So those of you guys that are watching this and kind of understand how horizontal, diagonal, or vertical placement changes things, vertical is going to be the most separation within the tones. And then you have diagonal, which will be a soft blend of the tones. And then horizontal, which is the strongest blend because they're all falling on top of each other. So this is going to be very blended. What I love, though, is that I'm coloring this horizontally, and the haircut lives as a round shape. So the difference is, if she wore it straight down, it would be very blended. But what she's going to wear it is as textured and probably more towards her face to show off that texture. So then it's going to be actually diagonal because of how she's going to wear it. So you have to take into consideration how she's going to style it as well. It's just as important as the placement of the color. So coloring at that base. And I'm going to go diagonal here. Let's see if we can. And again, start with that 6NA. How you choose your jackets or overcoats? I can't seem to find one comfortable enough to work in. That's like the funniest question because I'm not wearing a jacket today. Because normally I always wear a jacket. Today is just changed my mind. And honestly, it's because the jacket wasn't comfortable. I guess I think I have like 3 brands that I like literally, of clothes. And I just only buy those because I know how they fit. But I guarantee they won't fit you the way they fit me. All right, 6SB. So again, guys, just rotating. And because these are deeper tones like greens and grays and blues, and that's where it's going to kind of shift this brown hair color. And for real, I'm very, my sectioning, I don't even care if it's perfect because this is, I mean, obviously you got to color everything, but it's, I want it to kind of have an organic feel to it. I always think about those pictures, like, I don't know if you guys as a kid, you would draw all those shapes on a paper and then you color them all different colors and it would all kind of mold together. That's kind of how I look at hair coloring in a way. Like I just paint the different sections, and then I think it has a more organic look to it because when you put like, oh, here's a triangle and I'm going to color this triangle and I'm going to color this, the colors are too separated. So that's my thought anyways. So, okay, that's a good question. So how do you determine, this is from Susan, how do you determine which colors to intermix and those that don't, and how to avoid muddy coloring? Well, I think you have to look at, like, the way that you're going to get muddy coloring is you got to look at a couple things. You got to look at what their current hair color is, because then we do a lot of neutralizing as hairdressers. I think because we're taught like to always think of neutralizing. So let's say she's sitting right now at a level 6, and I'm like, well, I'm going to lift her to a level 7, and that underlying dominant pigment is going to be orange. So I need to use an ash because I want to make her not warm. And then we realize that, unfortunately, if you use ash on a level 7 and you do neutralize that orange, that it's probably going to look muddy because you're neutralizing everything. So I think it's good to go in and not focus on neutralizing, but focus on actually enhancing whatever tone you're looking for. If you're looking for some more like a golden tone, like we're using an NA, so it's more of a green base. So I'm still going to have warmth in this because we're at a level 6, and green is more of like a red neutralizer, but it's going to neutralize some of those red tones, but keep some of that golden tone. That makes sense? So it goes back to the whole days of like color math, if any of you guys learned that. So you replace, like how do you make orange hair? You make orange hair with red and yellow, right? So if you take away the red, you only have the yellow left. And so sometimes when you're working with, dominant pigments, and I want to take away the orange but leave the yellow so that I have a nice looking gold tone, then I would go in with a green color. So there's more to it than just thinking about neutralizing hair all the time. So that's always a good question, and I think people get really concerned about the color because this isn't like a typical application, and there's all different tones in it, that you would have to do something extreme when they come back. What I would do is when this guest comes back, I would assess exactly the situation with their... sorry, I'm focusing camera. I would assess the situation with their ends, what the ends look like. Do they have that movement? Do they still look kind of earthy? Do I like it? If I do, then I'll just touch up their base. If I feel that they need a refresh on the ends, then I'll do this exact same thing. So then you're thinking, well, then you're mixing tones. But honestly, this will be more faded at that point, and I would make that decision then. They're probably going to come back because I'm using demi color with all the ends looking very similar. So my goal would probably just be go back in, and this is their process. This is what I do for them. And what we call it in the salon is block coloring. It's, we didn't invent that word. It's been around for a long time. But block coloring is just multi-colors, and you charge for it, right? So you charge probably an extra $20, $30 for this technique as opposed to just doing a regular touch-up, and it's going to help enhance their haircut, right? And that's like the whole purpose, is to make everything work together. And I don't want, so this is something I want you guys to understand too. Like, I don't want these tones, definitely don't want the levels to really be any different. I just want it to, it's more natural to me if hair moves and has different tones to it than if it's just one solid tone. So that's really the goal with this. You're not going to see in the end result a big difference in the color. Like, you're just going to see a root, you're going to see a deeper root, and you're going to see probably like a shiny, earthy looking toned hair color. But then when I style it, I think you're going to see it pop, and the haircut's just going to look so much cooler because it has, just movement to it. Sweet. Feel like everybody's liking it so far. There's probably somebody out there that doesn't, but can't please them all. All right. So that's finishing up the sides and the back. And again, just working. Those of you guys tuning in, I'm using a level 5N with Joico Lumishine, and then a 1BS dash of that in the formula, just pouring it in the bowl to bring that depth into the root. And then on the ends, I rotate. I go 6NA for the end, and then the next section I go 6SB, which is the silver blonde. So now I'm going to work in the top. In the top, I am going to do more vertically. Trying not to get hair color all over this. If only she could adjust her head herself. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to work still the level 5 across the top. Paint that in. You can see it's a vertical section. Now, if my color or my tones were, my levels were way different, I would not do vertical straps throughout the top because it would look stripy. I saw a girl yesterday at a restaurant that had that same thing. Hers was blonde and black. Not what we're going for. But when you have tones and levels that are the same, and you're really trying to make that stand out a little bit, you kind of need to do these vertical straps because that's going to help show them off a little bit more instead of blending them all together. So painting this 6NA from root to end here, working it through. Don's asking what stylists inspire me. You know, like, I think all of them. Like, I don't, there's not like one person. I would definitely say that I have had different people that inspire me throughout my career. Now just the hair, like the techniques that I know in my head and the hair situation that I'm working with, that's kind of the inspiration. So today I knew I was going to be working with this Shag haircut, and I took some ideas from Instagram. So I just looked up the hashtag Shag haircut, and I went through and found some inspiration through there. So it was you guys, really. And then decided to make my own twist on that. And just working with other people too, like being able to work with Sam Villa this week, I took a lot away from just working with people that, that are kind of creating and things like that. So I would say, if you're going to follow anybody, I would say follow Sam, if you're not doing that already. And, yeah. How many people are working in the salon today? I want to see that on the... You guys in the salon? I actually do hair today. Coming up, right? I hope I can get this done before my client gets here. Or we'll just have him come in here and sit down and we'll cut his hair in front of you guys. What time is it? Oh, yeah. It's really going to be tight. Oh, he's at 2? No, I think Blue's at 1. Yeah. All right, last section here, right in the fringe area. Now with the fringe, I'm not going to paint the ends, right? So this was pretty long here, but now that I'm in this shorter fringe, I'm actually going to color this the whole deep color. I like kind of a nice deep fringe anyways, and then with a shag, it kind of gets textured and lays over that and as well. So I'm gonna go all in with the darker tone throughout the bangs. getting that through. Thanks, Carly. That's salon reality right there. My clients are always dodging my color flying on their face. All right. So, I'll recap over in the chair, actually. I'm going to give it a little spin for you guys. Hope you're enjoying it so far. So you can, it's probably hard to see. And like I said, these are the same level. So they're not going to be that different. It's just different tones going throughout the hair. The blue from the SB, that like silver color, silver tone, is going to help kind of neutralize some of those orangier things. But then also we got the green in there. So we're going to keep some of the gold. So it's like, I still want this to have a richness to it, but I don't want it to be orange. That's not the plan. So, all right, I'm going to go back over and we're going to talk some hair for a minute. Oh, all right.
That was fun.
That was fun. Yeah. Now we let it process.
Yep.
Can somebody set a timer for us? All right, let me see. Is this working? Okay, it's working. All right, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed that. The thing I want to talk about with that technique, it is 12:23. We will rinse. Let's rinse that in, let's just say 15 minutes. We'll start rinsing. And then I'm going to blow it dry because I want to show you guys the end result. So stay tuned. It's going to happen. All right, so a couple of things I want to break down with that hair color technique and just people in general as we get back into the podcast. Coloring hair for me, it's not about upgrading people to things that they don't necessarily want just so that you can make more money. It's all about really just defining a cut. Like this was a layered cut, so we added some movement in there. But when you have layers and you have a ton of layers, I don't like to add a big difference in that level. Right. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I wouldn't do like just stripey. I wouldn't do any highlights too much. What I would do if I was gonna highlight shorter, lots of layers hair, I would go in and pre-lighten a lot of it, add the depth, and then do multi-tones like we did in this. But I would just do it at a level 9 instead of a level, 6 like we did. So that's the things I want you guys to think about when you're in the salon, in coloring your guests, is when they have a lot of layers, go through, you could even pre-lighten throughout the whole head, then go in and add your tones on dry hair so you get the multi-dimension, but at the same level. If you guys have questions about anything that I did, definitely let me know. I can see the chat as well. Now, let's see. All right, I think we got all the questions there. Let's see. Okay, we were talking about this earlier. And this subject is that you don't have to share everything, but you should be capturing everything. And that's where I want to challenge you guys through the weekend. Those of you guys that watch this podcast and into next week, because I'm going to be in San Jose. So I'm not going to be, we won't do the show Tuesday because I haven't decided. I take the red eye home Monday. So I get home at 8 a.m. Tuesday morning. That's when my flight lands. So I could get back here at maybe 11. So it might happen. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. But so between now and Wednesday, what I want to kind of challenge you guys to do is capture as much as you can throughout your day, but you don't have to share it all. So basically what I'm doing with this podcast, and I've talked about it, quite a few times, but I'm capturing an hour and a half of stuff, and not all of it's good, right? And the same with our salon. So like our salon feed, we have a ton of content where a lot of everybody that works here, they're all uploading their photos throughout the day, and they're not always good, you know, but that's the point, is you just keep throwing it up there. And then when you see something that is worth sharing, then you share that. That makes sense. So, and it came from a picture that I saw that somebody took, and it was at our class the other day, but my eyes are like half open and like, and it just goes to show, like, people just kind of share stuff because they want to, but like you don't always have to share it. Like if you don't feel it was your best work, or if it doesn't have a purpose to bring something to the person on the other side, then you shouldn't share it. And that's how social media works. And I'm going to talk about that a lot this weekend when I'm in San Jose. The whole entire class is all about, don't put stuff out there just to fill your own stuff, right? It has to do something for the person on the other end, or it's not going to go anywhere. So that's that. So just make sure, capture everything when you sit your guest down in the chair today, that you are, or tomorrow, whatever, that try to take different things from the whole experience. Do a story of mixing the color and applying the color and all of that, and then get that shot at the end. And if you do that 10 times a day for everything that you're doing, just a second clip of it, by the end of the day, you have something good that you can share, whether it's, you know, the way that you mixed it, the makeover that you did on the client, whatever it is, share that in the story and then post it into your Instagram. And then you've got stuff to work with, right? I think that's, let's see. I think you should take footage of the show. Lee, I am going to take footage of the show. I actually did, when I was in DC, I did film my class, but it was at the worst angle. And again, so like it didn't look, it wasn't even that it was like, oh, it was the worst angle of me. It was like the worst angle for it to be like nobody wants to watch from way far away in a corner of a room, me teaching a class. Yeah. So this week I want to try to figure out how to get the camera more in front. But I filmed every single class I did. I just didn't really love the outcome of the footage. So I didn't share it. And that's kind of goes back to the whole thing. Yeah. There are videos that I filmed even this year where I did a whole haircut on the mannequin. We blew it dry. We did everything, filmed all day, and then I didn't ever put it out because it wasn't good. I didn't feel like it was teaching you guys something that I wanted to teach. So we didn't put it out there. Yeah. All right. I love that. Everything is not going to be perfect. Yes. How do I expand my social media following? I feel when I post, it's the same people that see it rather than gaining new followers and people to see my work. This is a great, this is Cole, great question, because here's why the same people see it. Because that's the only people that you're not touching, but that you're sparking that but for them to hit is basically it, right? So the way that social media works is you put something out there, and usually it's like your friends and family that like your stuff. So then always when you look in your feed, you see your friends and family, and then you see random other people that maybe you've liked once or whatever. But the only way that social media starts to grow is that if you start to get engagement from other people. So that goes back to, why are you posting what you're posting? Are you posting it for yourself? Because if you're posting it for yourself, like about your vacation or your kids or your food or whatever it is, you're only going to get your family. Right? If you post things that are beneficial for people, then you're going to get more people liking it because it means something to them. Like I put out education videos for all of you guys. So a lot of people like it because it's beneficial for them more than it is for me. So that's what you have to figure out. If you want to grow your following, then work on what you're putting out for other people and why. And then you can get that benefit. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. People are here. All right. So I think filming the stuff that you may not think is teaching us. Somebody's saying you should just post that stuff anyways. Which is probably true. You guys can hear. We're off camera. We're still live, but you guys can walk past. Okay. Nice and fast. Going back on. Let's see. I'm going to the Carly cam.
Hey.
All right. So, I think that's that for the questions. We got a couple minutes left before we start shampooing the mannequin. All right. Okay, cool. We don't have many questions today. So the other thing I want to talk about, I want to get into, because today is Friday, which is usually people's busiest day. And this is something that eventually you will have in your life, is like your busy day.
Yes.
Brian, I was just talking to Brian this morning, and he was saying that Thursdays have become his busiest day, and he's not sure why. And I always said, like, the busiest day that you have is usually your worst, because you'll do like let's say you did the most money you've ever done or whatever, but you're so busy that you don't focus on the things that are important.
Right.
So, so for you guys, I wanted to talk about that because I think it's an important subject, is the fact that if you're really busy in the salon and you want that day to happen again, you need to make sure that you are still focused on the client experience, rebooking, all of that stuff. So make sure that you're asking the right questions. When you sit them down, you right away, people that have trouble rebooking, start by asking, as soon as you get their color and cut and all that figured out and you're on your way, then the first question that I would ask somebody is, did you have any trouble booking your appointment today? And this is something that I learned from Steve and Terry Cohen. They put out these CDs. They did a lot with Paul Mitchell stuff. They said, did you have an issue getting an appointment today? And it doesn't matter whether your client says yes or no, you can still play off of that. So if they say, yes, I had trouble, then you're like, okay, well, I want to make sure I get you scheduled for the next visit so that you don't have that trouble, because some of my clients have been having trouble.
Yeah.
And then if they say, nope, I had no problem, it was easy, then you say, well, some of my clients have been having trouble getting booked, and I just wanted to make sure that you weren't having that issue. Maybe we could get you booked today, so you can kind of twist the conversation a little bit to make it not seem that you're more busy, but you're just trying to stay more consistent, right? So on your busiest day, you need to be asking those questions when the client's in the chair and not trying to do everything once the hair is done.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of people fail. The only thing you should be doing when the hair is done is taking a picture of it.
Yeah.
Everything else should happen before. Selling the products, talking about the next visit, talking about what you want to do with their hair on the next visit. Like, all of those things make you more successful if you don't, and then at the end of the visit, you're not saying, all right, I think you should get this product, and I really want to rebook you. And she's like, I just need to go pick up my kids. Like, there's a lot happening. So I think that that's probably where people need to focus more, especially on their busier days.
Yeah, I was just going to say about like talking about their next visit and getting them excited about that will get them to be more inclined to rebook, because you have a plan for their next time and you're talking about the future. So then they're thinking like, oh, like, they're going to rebook with you. Yeah,
that's like, I don't think people think about that enough.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've talked about it before, but, and I hate just constantly saying the same thing, but it's so true. Like, you're behind the chair and you, like, they're already there. So there's not much to get them psyched about in that visit.
Right.
I mean, you need to deliver on what they want, but your job should be to get them really excited about next time.
Yeah.
Because if you get them excited about next time, then they're automatically like, I can't wait, and I'm going to come back sooner. And there's a big difference, Carly, and this is like what a lot of people don't think about. If you have somebody come in 4 times a year or 8, like, if they come in 8 times a year, that you double your income.
Yeah.
If they come in 4 because you don't get them excited about next time and they just wait 3 months till their roots are terrible and they have gray hair, then, so you can actually double your paycheck just by getting them excited. The reason it's so easy to sell a new product in retail is because everybody's excited about it. Same thing with services. But the only way you get excited about services is if you are educated.
Yeah.
Right? If you stay up on education, you learn something new. Now all of a sudden you're talking about it in the salon and you want to try it on them next time in the salon. So, and on your busiest days, that's like the best part because you have sure, yeah. So, on your busiest days, that's where you have the opportunity to not to talk to many people about next time and what you want to do with them. So, I think that that's just like where people need to really hone in when they have their busy day, really focus on that, the next visit for the client. All right, let's see. Let me see your chat here. We at Eric Fisher call them raging fans. I like that. That's a good one. When are you coming to teach in Australia? Probably, I don't have any plan to come to Australia. I mean, I would love to. Especially for vacation, but I teach on the internet, so all of you guys can see me on here. But I would really love to do that. That would be fun. You guys are great. Definitely appreciate your live shows and knowledge you share. Looking forward to seeing your hair show footage. Very cool. I'm actually going to, I'm definitely going to film my San Jose classes this weekend. I'm excited to see everybody there. I'm going to get the camera in the right angle and do the class. It's all social media stuff, so a lot of it you guys hear on here, but it's a little more structured in there. So I'm excited to share that with you. Jennifer saying, I'm having trouble asking if I can take someone's picture from my social media pages. Do you have any advice? So this is the other thing. Like, if your guest doesn't like getting their picture taken, then take the back of their head. But my advice for social media now is I don't think social media is so much all hair photos. I think 1/3 of your post should be hair. And I think the other should be creative things that fit in to your salon world, right? So it's still professional. So I'm not saying like picture of hair, picture of food. What I'm saying is picture of hair, picture of you working, picture of something creative that you're doing, showing a tip on styling, like all of those things, especially videotaping yourself, showing how to put in a ponytail, things like that, things that are beneficial. We talked about it at the beginning of this. You need to be benefiting the person on the other end of your social media. So don't just look at getting pictures of hair and your clients. It doesn't have to be that. Take a selfie with a client if you have that kind of personality with your client. If your client's like, for me, I'm not a big fan of taking the picture of my client's hair, but I will take pictures of the back of their head or kind of a side angle, something that makes them a little more comfortable. And I don't ask every single client that, like, I know that they don't love getting their picture taken. I won't take the picture of them. Maybe that's the picture I'll take of me working, and I'll get it from behind so you can't see that client. But you see my station, you see me working, and I get creative with that photo. And I'm going to tell you guys right now that getting creative with a photo on social media that's not hair but is you, you'll notice if you're in the pictures, you're going to get a lot more likes because it sparks something in somebody. They like seeing the person. And I think it builds your brand too because everybody has hair on their page, but not everybody has personality. So being able to put that all together, I think, is key. Let's see. Susan, love the online tutorials. Thanks for answering my questions. You're very welcome. Biggest piece of advice for people just getting started in the industry. This is Christina. Christina loves you. This is either my fiance or that's just her name. But biggest piece of advice for people getting started in the industry. To capture everything you're doing. I think that's something that will put you ahead of a lot of people. And not only because you're capturing it, but because you're learning how. And I think that's going to be the biggest part. It's already the biggest part of our industry, and it's going to be even bigger, in a couple years. So just really learn to utilize the bridge between your phone and hair, and just figure out how to connect those two things together. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we're waiting for the mannequin to get shampooed. I know that this is like stalling in dead air a little bit, so ask questions if you want to. I don't want to jump off here because Carly is back already. So perfect timing. So I'm going to bring you guys over. I'm going to blow dry the mannequin. I want to show you guys the end result. This will be put into a smaller video for later for YouTube so that you guys can see it quicker, that whole transition that we did. But I'm going to get back over and start blow drying the mannequin, and then we'll recap. So 1 second. Okay. All right, so I'm going to blow dry the mannequin here. So I'm just going to put in, oh wait, you can't see. There we go. All right. So I'm going to use a little bit of this Joico Perfecting Blowout Perfecting Cream. I used this to style it before. You can tell him he can come in now. Like, he can sit over there. So I'm going to run this through the hair. And then once I get the product in the hair, I like to brush it through. That, to me, just kind of gets all the product saturated in there. Can already tell that I like this color because it's got a nice depth to it. All right, I'm going to turn the blow dryer on. And the way I'm going to style it is just a nice little flat wrap. What did it do? Oh, we got to change it. Fail. Can you push the third one on the top left? Top left. Your other left. Yep. Does it show it on that screen? Yeah. All right. Sorry, guys. All right. So I'm going to go through, blow dry, flat wrapping. And then as I kind of blow dry this around, then I'll brush some down and just start smoothing. And do a little bit of a lift, leafing technique, and just continue flat wrapping. My goal is to not blow dry in a part. Blow dry this back, lift. And these colors work really well for taking like brown hair that usually has those like really orangey, kind of deeper orangey tones, and just taking that tone out. What do I like about the Dyson dryer? I mean, honestly, I'm kind of a person that would use any blow dryer, but the Dyson, I do like that it's compact, little nozzle. I like holding it right here. So it's just comfortable for me, but I wouldn't say it's worth $400. So, but I spent that, and so I'm using it. So I would say that that's kind of my thoughts on that. I do know that at hair shows you can get a better price on them. I think that that's a more fair price, but you got to catch them at a hair show to get it. I also hate that they don't let hairdressers sell them in the salon. So not a fan of that, but see those different tones in there? It does work really well, though. Like, I do love the polish that it puts on the hair, but there are dryers that do that same thing. See if I don't know how well you guys can start to see this, but you just see all the different depth, the lighter, this like the deeper. It's like some of the 6NA, and it just like comes through. So it's not that it's so different, but it looks like I did like a weave of all different tones throughout the hair, but they all live on the same level, and that's like just what can really make your client's hair stand out, I think. All right. Now just smooth it out a little bit. Carly, can you grab me that the Joico texture spray? Yeah, I love how like this just removes that. It adds that dimension, but it just makes it smokier looking, which I really like. It's hard to get on a medium brown, so take out that orange tone. Do I use flat wrapping on all my clients? Pretty much. I mean, most of the time, yes, because most of the time I'm preparing them to cut them, because I do a lot of dry cutting. I mean, I do my base cutting wet, and then I go in and detail it dry. So no matter what, even if I'm going to give them some volume, I'll go through and do a flat wrap, because flat wrapping doesn't necessarily not give you volume. It just gets the hair kind of smooth to the head and does it without a part. So it's ideal for situations where you're dry cutting and working through the hair. So, all right. Here. This is real salon reality because I got a guest coming in. Backed up here. All right. 15? Cool. All of us got to get to work, you know? Okay, so we're going to style it up with Beach Shake. It's a Joico product. It's like an explosion of texture comes out of this thing. Let's see here. And then once this texture's out, you'll be able to see even better. It always smells like you're on vacation when you spray this stuff. Like sunscreen, but good. Expensive sunscreen. Okay, so Rhonda says it looks really shiny. This technique would really give thin hair a thicker feel. This is beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Rhonda, you're the best. So yes, all of those things definitely would give finer hair just more movement. Nobody wants hair that's one color. So even though these are not crazy different level, you've got your depth at the bottom, which is a level darker than the ends. So it's a level 5 with a little bit of depth put into it. And then you have your level 6 ends in 2 different tones. So that's where you see depth and multiple tones kind of throughout it, but it's not crazy. It's not all over the place. Obviously, you could do that if you wanted to mix in some lightener with that or freehand paint some stuff. Like, understand that just like hair cutting, let me scoot out a little bit. So understand that just like hair cutting, coloring is so similar in a way of this technique isn't just saying, hey guys, go color 2 different browns at a level 6 and do a level 5 base. Like, this is have fun with your tones, pick it. If your guest comes in, she always gets a level 5 touch up, and you want to give her something a little fresher. You want to make her excited about her next visit. Then talk about the multiple tones, the dimensional color that you can put in there. Talk about those things, get her excited about next visit, and then all of a sudden she'll be coming back in sooner to get that dimensional color that you've got her all amped about. So all these different tones throughout it. Hope you guys like it. It's going to be my goal to do color, throughout the week every once in a while, even though I love cutting so much. This shag haircut is super fun. But that is, the color technique. Hope you guys like it. I'm going to jump back over, finish everything up with Carly.
Is that Angela that said so pretty?
It is. Ange totally wants his haircut.
I was thinking of her the whole
You were thinking about her when
Yeah, the color and the cut, actually, because we're trying to think of what to do with her color. So the whole time I was thinking that this would be something good.
Yeah, that's totally a good idea. All right, so and this off. All right, so let's recap the day.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in on a Friday. There was a lot of you guys on here throughout. I know we were on here live for a while, but appreciate you guys hanging in. I wanted to show you guys start to finish that hair color and understand that, in the salon, you can do things like that and do it in a quick amount of time so that you're still making money in the salon. You don't have to spend hours and hours on doing your techniques. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Carly, thanks for hanging in as always. We will be back next week, and I will be in San Jose this weekend. If you're there, go to the Cosmoprof show, check it out. And I can't wait to be back on this show next week and do some more live stuff for you guys. Hope you're liking this show. And that is all. We'll see you later.
Welcome to the Matt Beck Podcast. Woke up this way. He's got a lot of cool stuff he's going to show you today. The latest news, industry topics, and business tips. For all hairstylists and salon owners, it's time to flip the script. Grab your precision scissors, barber combs, and swivel twist razors. Let's cut a bob, a quick shag pixie cut with a little bit of flavor. Check out the live classes, product reviews. Let's rock on. Don't forget to check out freesaloneducation.com. I woke up this way. It's going to be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this